This is gonna be the one that got away. Okay. Hi. Good morning. Am I gonna upload this in the morning? Anyway, hi and welcome to my channel and welcome to my first video. I don't know if this is gonna be, vlogging or about books, but today we're gonna talk about books and like my must-reads in my bookshelf, and as well as I'm gonna introduce myself because that's how you know I'm not a psychopath. Hi, I'm Georgina. I'm 21 years old and I'm a college student in the Philippines. Yes, a college student with a really expensive hobby. Tell me about it. And I'm taking up communications, and my hobby is like reading and writing. Yeah, that's about it. That's about as good as gonna get, I guess. Anyway, introductions aside, there's actually a lot of books that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to ramble because I haven't actually fangirl about these books much because my friends likes different types of genres and I like the fantasy type. So let's get on to our list, shall we? Okay, so first on the list is okay, why did I do that? Okay. So first on the list is Selection by Kiara Cass. I actually read this book when I was in 10th grade, and it was given to me by my friend, and it's actually a really, really good fantasy novel. It's set after the Third World War, and there's like a caste system. The caste system has like 8 stages. Do you call that stages? I don't know. It has 8 like tiers. I don't know. It has 8 tiers, and if you're like an 8, you're like really, I was about to say really homeless, but what's really homeless? If you're an 8, you're like really, really, really down the bar, meaning that you can't have a job and you're too like poor, I guess. I don't want to say poor, it's really, rude. And if you're a 1, you're royalty, and if you're like a 2, you're a guard. There's like, it's really, really detailed caste system. And if the king and queen had a son, they would hold a selection. And if they had a daughter, they would marry that daughter to another kingdom to strengthen the bond, etc., etc. So in the selection, anyone can participate. Even if you're an 8, you can freaking participate in that. And you have the chance to boost yourself up to royalty. So America, our girl in this story, is actually a 5? I actually forgot. This is like a really, really old read to me. But she's a musician, and she was currently in a relationship with a guy called Aspen, who's a caste lower than her, and she was willing to sacrifice everything. Not actually everything, I'm just exaggerating. Like, she's willing to sacrifice her like comfortability in living to be with Aspen, but Aspen is like, no, I'm the man, you don't have to sacrifice anything. It's like, what? Okay. I was actually really confused in that part, but at the same time I actually like really understand where Aspen is coming from. So Mare and then Mare eventually, America, I keep saying Mare, America actually participated in the selection because she and Aspen broke up. Yeah, they broke up, and she was actually selected to be one of the 12 or 15 girls to compete for the prince's hand. So they would all like live in the castle with each rooms, and they have maids, and it's like, yes, it's like The Bachelor, but more fancier and more deadlier. And the book, and actually this series is a 3-parter. It is America's story, and there's a 2 more book after America's story, but I'm not gonna spoil anything because by the end of the book there's a lot of twists and turns and so much violence that happened in this book, and I recommend this. Really good read. Okay, so next is Six of Crows. Yeah, this is a lot. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I'm probably butchering it, but I'm so sorry. But you know, Six of Crows. And Six of Crows is actually the first book that I've read that is in third person, and the perspective of each chapter shifts from character to character, and it's really good. And I believe this is like a sub story from another story that Miss Bardugo is actually writing, which is like the Grisha trilogy. I haven't read it. I haven't bought the book yet because I'm poor and broke. I'm a college student, obviously. But this is an actually really nice read. This is just a two-parter. It's a duology, and it's about a story of a really famous like gang leader or mob leader, and his name is actually really infamous in Ketterdam. Okay, bear with me. The book has like a lot of names and words that's really hard to pronounce, like Kaz, Inej, in Jen. Okay, so this book is set in a fantasy, obviously, and in the district of Ketterdam, which is like known for the gang district, meaning that it's really famous for a lot of gang-related activity. And Kaz is one of the most famous one. So Kaz is actually like, let's say, who came from a really, mysterious background. Nobody actually know where Kaz came from, what his origin story. And the book is actually explaining that Kaz was hired by a trader, an aristocrat. I kind of forgot that he needs to like perform a heist for him, and Kaz was all like, "No, I'm not gonna perform a heist for you. Why am I doing that? I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry." And eventually Kaz accepted the deal, and he formed like his own small little team. And the small little team consists of two of his most trusted like members of the gang, a child that's actually really, really intelligent, a convict, and a heart tender. From what I remember is that a heart tender is someone that has a magical ability. So they were about to perform a heist, and the heist is going to be in this really secured place that no one ever successfully broken into and got out. A lot of people have broken into it but never got out. They die inside. So that's where they go. That's the place they're going to break in, get the stuff, break out. It's actually really good. It cost me like $500, which is $10 in US. It's a really, really good story, though it's kind of weird at first if you haven't tried reading third-person books, because it's super like you have to keep reminding yourself it's third person. It's really good though. It really go in depth with each character, and each character still has that mysterious aura around them every time you read it. You want to know more, but the book doesn't give you more. So highly requested. Next is everyone's favorite, is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Actually, I read this on my senior year, which is 12th grade. Like this book, the selection actually is having its own Netflix adaptation. I don't know when. I haven't caught up yet with the news on it, but give it a try if you like this. So everyone knows the story of Lara Jean and Peter So actually, they have more sweet moments in the book than the Netflix, which is really. I was like, where's the cute moment? And there's actually a scene in the book that I really, really, really love, and I just thought it was so cute that it didn't make into Netflix, which is Lara Jean and Peter went to a movie. They're in the movie and they want like snacks and popcorns and stuff. So Lara Jean asked Peter, what kind of food do you eat usually when you go to the movies? And Peter's like, just popcorn or none. And Lara Jean was going, her typical self, like, why? You should, have something to eat. And they were the next one to order. Lara Jean didn't say anything about what she wanted. When she was about to order, Peter ordered for her. Like everything, from the candy to the popcorn, to what kind of popcorn it is, to what kind of soda. And it was so freaking adorable because you can really see that Peter pays attention. But at the same time, I'm still Team Ambrose, You see my dilemma? It's really, really good. I actually met the author of this on a book signing, and I got to meet her, but I was so nervous that I froze in place, and her hand was hurting because there's a lot of people at that book signing. There's like 500 of us, so I was just given this, which I didn't even place properly. And yeah, that's it. And actually, if you notice, I keep markings in some books because this is my favorite part of the book. I don't know, that's just a little weird detail about me. So next is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I'll tell you now, this is a freaking good story. It has 5 parts on it, and the story goes that their world is divided by blood, red blood and silver blood. So red blood is, a commoner, just a normal person, while silver bloods are the people with statuses, the aristocrats, the royalty, etc., etc. And on top of that, they have powers. Just think of the X-Men, but on steroids, The main protagonist is called Mare, and Mare is a red blood, and Mare is actually the breadwinner of their family because her mother is taking care of her other siblings while their dad is actually confined in a wheelchair. So Mare and her little sister are, doing the work to get food for the family. The really unique thing about this is that they don't have regular jobs, like you can have a vendor or you can put up your own shop and that's your job. They actually they call it an apprenticeship, so they would actually go under a wing of a silver blood, let's say a fisherman or a tailor. It's either silver or red blood if you're lucky, if you're lucky for a silver blood to actually like you, because silver bloods here are really mean to red bloods. They see red bloods as slaves, as leechers, as people that should die because they're of a lower species. So Mare is actually not an apprentice, and she's been hopping on job to job, while her little sister is actually an apprentice in a tailor shop. And Mare has a best friend, and that best friend is also an apprentice of a fisherman. And then one day that fisherman actually died, and as you can see, if you don't have an actual job, you get sent to the military. And Mare found that out, and then she concocted this really stupid plan of hers to run away with him, but it didn't work. So Mare ended up working as a maid. Just think of it as a maid cafe, but instead of hugs and kisses, it's death and blood, and just think of it as an arena where silver bloods battle it out to the death, and other silver bloods bet on their lives. So Mare was working at that, and the arena actually has an electric force field on top, and if you fall in there, you die. And Mare, being stupidly brave of her, she was actually seeing her colleague getting harassed by silver blood, and triple-blooded people. And then she was about to like, defend her, and she was defending her until, she got pushed over the railing and into the arena, and then zap. She was in it, but she didn't die. It's not much of a story if the main protagonist dies. She actually, despite her red blood, actually has powers. She actually has powers, which is hush hush. Of course, main protagonist, plot armor. And then she then was like taken in by the royal family. And the only thing that I kind of was like super like really nervous about it has a romance kind of element to it, but it's not like that focused on. And it's really good blend of action, suspense, at the same time really, really corny and adorable moments. So now she's fighting for her life because she doesn't know who to trust. She was just taken in by the royal family because she has powers and she's a red blood, and that causes controversy, and her identity was completely changed, and they say that Mare is dead. So actually this is a 5-part series, and that's all I can say, because if I continue to ramble it's gonna be like a spoiler session. So I give this a really high recommendation because it's really good. I really recommend you guys like buy it and just read it, or maybe go and find like ebooks of it or something. It's really good. Okay, now this is my last one. I actually put this in last because it's because almost every single book that I've recommended today is actually a fantasy type fiction, So this is Chose the Wrong Guy and Gave Him the Wrong Finger by Beth Harbinson, and it's really good. And I actually like debated if I'm actually going to get it because it's not fiction, it's non-fiction. It's actually like a slice of life if it's anime, and it's really, really good. Though it's filled with a lot of cringy moments, like secondhand embarrassment, like in K-dramas usually have. It's actually really good. The story is about a woman named Quinn, and Quinn is a dressmaker, more specifically a wedding dressmaker, a bridal dressmaker, and she's really good. And her prices are like it's not super high, but for the quality and the style, it's like handmade. She sewed it all by hand. She was about to get married herself at the beginning of the book, but the moment that the doors open, the groom just went away and ran off, and this actually broke her. So on the night of her wedding, instead of going to a really, really nice honeymoon, she was writing like apology notes to her guests. It was really sad. It was really sad. It's like in the middle of the night and it was raining, and then someone entered her shop, and it was the brother of the groom, and he took her to Vegas to forgive and forget, I guess, to forget what happened at that day. And it wasn't actually explained what happened, because in the next few chapters she actually has like a bad relationship to the brothers. Like, actually it's kind of understandable. One left you on the altar while the other one had a mysterious night in Vegas, and what happens in Vegas, it actually stays in Vegas. Anyway, so it's a story about a girl who's trying to move on to the brothers, I guess, to what happened between those two. And you can actually see that she doesn't want to move on. She was stuck in her life where it's at its peak, I guess, during her 20s, between 15 to 25, I guess. And she was stuck there, the same town, the same place, the same house, and the same people. And it's a really good read because you get a sense of like this Biz has to move on with her life. Like she's about to turn into her late 20s and she's still there. And she still like has the same memory when she was like a teenager or in her early 20s, that this guy is like this, that girl is like that. She was in my math class in high school and she just can't move on. And this is just a really emotional roller coaster on how she decided to move on and realize that I really need to move on. And of course, to help her move on is of course the brothers, because the brothers had like a grandmother in that town, and that grandmother is about to get married, and also that grandmother is really close with Quinn. So Quinn was about to make her dress and all the other stuff. And as you know, as the wedding date is coming, both of the boys came to the city, and she was, a wreck. She was a wreck. It actually took me longer to read this because it's not fiction and I keep getting bored in the middle of it, but it's a really good read. I highly recommend. And yeah, and that's all for my list. If I actually continued, I actually have more downstairs. It's gonna be long. I'm gonna link down below of Goodreads of the novels I've recommended today, so you can actually like read and understand more clearly about the story, and it might entice you. If this video is not enticing enough, I do apologize. I don't know how to YouTube, and I'm just a little I'm a little girl. So this is just like 1/4 of my collection. There's actually more downstairs. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video and get you into reading, especially since it's still quarantine. Even though there's online classes, you can like sneak it in there. Anyway, that's all, and thank you. See you in my next one. Bye.